Welcome to An Open Book with Harry Pacheco, where our guests choose to be an open book, sharing real impactful stories that are making a difference. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of Open Book with Harry Pacheco. Today we have a special guest.
I don't know where to look.
I know. No, this right there. No, you're trying to.
Oh, okay.
Today we have it's all angles.
Okay.
Today we have a special guest. Her name is Mariah Lynch. She's joining us here today. We're just gonna talk. We're gonna talk about her transitioning coming from California, because so many implants that are here now.
Yes.
I'm one of them.
Yes, you are, and you're kind of fresh.
They call me a fresh fish.
Yes, you haven't been there very long.
Right. So your transition, and I think it's one of the like awesome ones that I have seen.
Thanks.
And have kind of like knowing you
Yeah.
and seeing what you had to do, because it's very hard for Californians to move from such a different place and then coming here, and it's very conservative, things of that nature. But the upside is slow of pace and being able to be present.
Yeah, 100%.
So tell us about Mariah Lynch and how she grew up in California.
Okay. I was actually born in Scottsdale, Arizona, but I came to California when I was 2, so I consider myself a Californian.
Yeah.
My family was in California, in Orange County, in Buena Park, California, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm,
Yes.
in the hood.
Yeah.
That's where my California family is from.
Yeah.
And, growing up in California, it was a different, it's different than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Very different. There was a vibe in California and LA where I grew up specifically. There was a lot of energy. It felt that like anything was kind of possible.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
people used to come there to make their dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not they knew they weren't going to come true,
Yeah.
they still came. And it was different, like I don't want to be a California hater now, but it's not what it was. It was very different. My dad is a musician.
Okay.
So growing up with a dad who toured a lot, he took me with him.
Yeah.
So I was on tour from about probably, a baby, really, but I toured with him full time from 3 to 8 years old. I didn't go to school. I had a nanny and I had a tutor. And, my dad always says that I learned more being with him than I would have learned in kindergarten. And just went with him everywhere. We used to say we were like the movie Paper Moon.
Yeah.
But, we weren't salesmen, but we kind of were, I guess.
Yeah.
But he took me everywhere, and, I got to see the world. And even just being around the States as a kid, I didn't have friends, but I had my dad, and I had their whole crew and everyone that was associated with them. And it was interesting, it was definitely different. And I look back on it, and I remember like my time at home when I wasn't on tour with my dad, but I don't remember it as much as when I was with him.
Right.
Even though I loved going to the beach, I loved living in California.
Yeah.
But as like my childhood, I don't really remember a lot of that.
Right.
I just remember being on the go with my dad, planes, trains, automobiles, like it was that.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting growing up that way, and growing up in LA, which is very music centered and very like industry focused. And I didn't realize that my life was different until I started to get a little bit older.
Yeah.
I didn't know why people wanted pictures with my dad. Or why people would come up to us at restaurants, and I didn't understand. And totally off topic, but having a daughter now, when we're out with her with my dad and people will come up to him, she doesn't get it, and she's very like, why are these people like, why are they talking to Papa, like, And that was me as a kid. I didn't get it.
Right.
And I used to kind of be resentful of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I wanted all my dad's attention. And I would get upset that like he had to go and work or he had to deal with people. But yeah, so I mean, California, when I'm home, it was great. And being a kid in California, you roller skate, you surf, you go to the beach. It was very what you imagine California. You know,
Yeah.
like when you would see movies of Venice Beach and that's your
Yeah.
life, you know.
Absolutely.
It's
Baywatch.
Baywatch. Totally. That's your life when you
Yeah.
live in LA and when you grow up in LA.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a good childhood. It was very different, but, you know, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about now California, you know, it's not as safe as it used to be. But I would go walk on the streets of Hollywood and go out by myself. And me and my little friends were running around being
Right.
little hoodlums. And I'm like, wow, you could never do that today.
No, absolutely not.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not safe like it was. And it's such a different place. But
Yeah.
I had a great childhood. I loved being there. You know, it was very special to grow up with my dad. It was different. But it was always nice to come home.
Yeah.
You know, we camped a lot. We spent a lot of time at the beach. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. Just very different.
Yeah. Could I ask? This is one question that I had for you. Now, growing up, you had a tutor on tour.
Yes.
How was that?
You know, it was interesting because I mean, I know homeschool has like always been a thing.
Right.
But I guess back then it wasn't as trendy
Yeah.
to homeschool. And
Yeah.
it was like homeschool was only reserved for like super rich people or
Right.
like something different.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Yeah.
consider myself super rich. You know, I grew up well off, but my dad never let me know that I had any money because he was very like, it's my money.
Right.
You want money, you got to work for it.
Right.
So like I didn't think I was in a different position than anybody. Yes, I was on like a tour bus and yes, I had a different life, but it didn't hit me.
Right.
So to me, I thought it was normal to
Yeah.
have this lady with me all the time.
Yeah.
She was Swedish. Her name was Robin. She was great.
Yeah.
And she, we'd learn for a little bit during the day and then she was just kind of like my friend. And I had a separate nanny, and then she kind of became my nanny because
Yeah.
it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, you know. It was just, it seemed normal.
Yeah.
But looking back, I guess it wasn't normal.
Right,
you
but that
know?
was your
That was my
narrative,
normal.
right?
Yeah,
That was your perspective of
I
it being normal
I
because
thought
that's
it
all
was
you see.
normal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you seen.
I thought it was normal
Yeah.
that we would wake up somewhere in some new city, go find something to eat, go find something to do, and then do school.
Yeah,
You know, but I just remember thinking like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go to school and I wanted to do all those things, but I didn't know how, and I didn't know how to be around children. I had one friend and she would fly out and be on tour with us, but it was just what I thought was normal.
Yeah.
You know, so it was different, but yeah, having a tutor was interesting. But looking back, I'm like, well, people homeschool their kids all the time
Right.
now. So it's just kind of another version,
yeah,
but not my dad doing it.
right.
So.
So you're giving us an open door to kind of like what we would think the outside life would be like. Man, that must have been cool,
Right.
Right, or you
Yeah.
must meet a lot of famous people,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever it is, because you're in that industry.
Right,
But
right.
in some ways, because you've been around it all your life, I'm like, but isn't that what everyone does? Right?
Yeah.
In some ways.
You know, it's interesting because I think people who are outsiders for like the touring world or whatever kind of world I live in and still live in, it's very lonely out there. It's hard. You don't have any type of schedule. You don't really have any type of like normalcy. You live out of a suitcase. Every day is somewhere new. It's very, it's kind of like discombobulating, but it's very
Right.
lonely. And, you know, being on the side of it, growing up with it, it was like me and my dad against the world, so I didn't really understand. But looking back and looking at how it must have been for him to have, you know, this like larger than life persona and to be on stage, to be with all these people, and then as soon as you're off the stage, you know, his like guitar tech who would watch me while I'd be up there is like handing him his daughter, and he hasn't even, you know, like just walking off the stage, and then he was with me. So he never really had a lot of time to decompress. And I think about that a lot, like how it must have been for a dad to be a full-time caregiver. I had a nanny, but I was with my dad. I don't remember really being with the nanny. I just remember being with my dad. Yeah. And so I think about that. And
that balancing.
Yeah. And, you know, people think, oh, it must be so fun. It must be so this. It is, but it's hard and it's lonely and it's not for everybody. And, you know, it's a lot of waiting around. And people who tour, these musicians, people like to put them on pedestals, put them on whatever, because they love their music, they love them. But it's a lot of sitting around all day waiting for that 1 hour of the day where it's on. And it's like everything that's been leading up to it. Yeah. And then that's it. You know, they're alone or they're around a few people, and then you go out there and there's thousands and thousands of people and there's lights and it's loud and it's adrenaline, and then that's it. Yeah. And then you have to just snap back into the real world. Right. And it's kind of strange. It's a weird thing when you think about it, you know? But But yeah, so I didn't know any different. So that was my childhood, and I don't know any different.
Now, because your dad been in the industry for so long. Yeah. So this transpired from you being in elementary, like school. Yeah. To junior high and then high school. Yeah. Now, was that a significant difference, or were you just, now it was just normalcy at this point?
Well, my dad stopped touring full time when I was about 9 years old because he didn't want me to have to be out there, and he wanted to be at home more, and I really wanted to go home, and you know, he kind of did that for me, and I think about that a lot. And when he remarried, he would tour a little bit more here and there, but he never toured like he did, because he toured heavily from like 1980 to like 1998, and then that's when he was like, okay, she's tired, I'm tired, let's be home. But he still did stuff. He would still go on tour, but it was nothing like it was. And now I had a stepmom to be at home with, so I didn't have to go as much. But it was always different, you know. My dad was always gone. He was always somewhere. Yeah. But that's what kind of led me to kind of just be on my own a lot. Yeah. And, you know, a teenager in LA, it could go many different ways. Yeah. But luckily,
you navigated through really good. Yeah,
I navigated through it in a good way, and I kept a good head on my shoulders, and it was fine. Yeah.
So, quick question. Sure. You're very articulate.
Oh, thanks.
And so that tutor did a good job.
Hey, she must have. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is a lot of people would be like, you should be at school. No, why should I be at school? I mean, this was your normalcy. Yeah. Why just because it's not the way I did it doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't normal. Right. So, 100%. that was your normalcy.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot more, and you know, I would never diss school. I would never, you know, tell anyone that they shouldn't go to college, they shouldn't do all these things. But, you know, my education, I mean, it's funny when I say, like, my education was the streets, because I was not on the streets. No, but it was dealing with people and situations and having different jobs and different, you know, just being around so many different people from different walks of life, from having weird jobs, amazing jobs. It's just being in the outside world.
Right. No, absolutely.
Not with my head in a book. I think I learned more than I ever would have learned being in school full time. And even as I got older, because, you know, I tried college, it just wasn't for me. Yeah. I always say, you know, I couldn't read a 400-page textbook and ace an exam. Right. But if you drop me off in the middle of the desert with $20,
you'll make it.
I'm going to be okay. Yeah. You know? And I don't know where that comes from.
I love that.
Or if that's love that. Yeah. It's like some of us, I think, we need structure. Yeah. We need school. We need routine. We need all these things. Mm-hmm. And then I think some of us are kind of just meant to be thrown out into the wild. Yeah. And we figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's definitely me, unfortunately.
Well, I have a story to tag to that. To piggyback on what you're saying is that I have a cousin that's super smart, book smart.
Yeah.
He went to
Yeah.
Berkeley. He even went to Stanford at
All
some
the
point.
things. Yeah.
I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that street smart.
No.
And guess what? Like when he had to go live on his own and do these things, he couldn't do the most simplest
Right.
things in the world, and it's detrimental to
Yes.
what his life is now.
And you'll kind of see that, you know,
Yeah.
when you look at people who are these really successful people, like, you know, like a Steve Jobs, where
Right.
you've seen so many things about his life.
Yeah.
He wasn't very likable, and
No.
he wasn't, you know, he was a genius.
Yeah.
But he didn't really have that people, you know, he wasn't really a people pleaser, which you
No.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But he didn't have those people skills.
Yeah.
And I think people who are either extremely intelligent or their brains are just wired in different ways. Like
Yeah.
an accountant. I couldn't be an accountant.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would talk to an
Yeah.
accountant about.
Right.
But we could probably have fun, you know, but it's just different brains. And I think people have different, there's different places in the world for them.
Yeah.
For sure. So,
So, Mariah, here's my next question.
okay.
All right. So you've managed to kind of navigate through the childhood of being, let's just be honest, your dad is a rock star,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so many people's eyes. Maybe it's
Yeah.
in some ways it's kind of weird saying that, but he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? He's beloved by
Yeah, yeah,
many,
yeah.
many people.
Yeah.
And so when you come over here and transition, and know you personally, just how great of a mom you are and how much you're very present.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that something that you wanted for your own daughters because of what you kind of went through? Because you're like, if anybody's like, when you look in a dictionary and it says, man, a present mom,
Right.
it would be you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you know what I mean? This person here goes to gymnastics,
Yeah,
dance,
everything.
Lucky Lads.
Everything.
I mean, the
We
zoo.
were at the zoo all day yesterday.
I mean, if there's a person
Yeah.
that loves their daughter and spends time with their daughter, it's you.
Yeah.
And
No, I appreciate
very,
that.
very present.
Yeah.
Now, does that help not being in California and being here
Well,
as
I will
far as the
say,
transition?
living in California, I never wanted to stay there forever. Even though it's my home, even though it's everything I knew, California very much has this kind of rat race mentality.
Yeah.
And I had to get out of it.
Right.
You know, I did live in San Diego, which I know you did.
Yeah.
I lived there for about 5 years, and it was a little bit less of a rat race, but it still is. Everyone
Yeah.
is trying to one-up each other, or
Yeah.
it's a constant, what can you do? Who do you know? How can you get ahead? And
On that wheel.
yeah, exactly. And that's
Not
just
going anywhere,
no.
but going fast though,
Yes,
100 miles per
going-
hour.
Yes, and where they're going to crash,
Right.
You know, and I knew I wanted to live in Tennessee, and I knew I wanted to have a family in Tennessee, and you know, I am lucky that I do share my life with someone that he didn't care where we lived. You know, he is a musician, and he has gone a lot, so it was more of, well, where do you want to be? And you know, when we decided on Tennessee, I didn't have my daughter yet, but we knew we were going to. You know, she was part of the plan. And I think being here, I've fully settled into my like trad wife, you know, nuclear family life here, which
Yeah.
is not for everyone. And
Right.
you know, my friends in California do not understand it. You know, they're so of a mind of hustle, 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 and we have to do this and this and this, where I just wanted to be a mom, and everything that I've done, you know, was always kind of leading up to that. And being in Tennessee, planting those roots, you know, having a slower paced life, I think you can kind of decide what you want that life to look like, whereas somewhere like a California, like a New York, like where anyone is coming from here,
Right.
you can't have that. One, I think the cost of living makes it hard if you're
Yeah.
not in a position. You know, I respect moms that have to work full time. I do. I'm grateful to be in a situation where I don't. And why would you not dedicate everything that you have to that, you know? And I have a lot of other ventures and things that I do, but my main priority is always going to be my child. And I thank Tennessee for that, because it's a different pace of life. The people are kind. There's so much to do for children here that, you know, every day we can be out and we can do something.
So do you feel like that you've been embraced by?
Oh yeah. That's okay. She's so cute.
We're experiencing technical difficulties right now. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you want to go from? I remember what you were saying. You were saying
I moved here about 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Just where do you want me to start?
Do 6 years ago, right?
Okay.
6 years ago.
Yeah, I moved to Tennessee 6 years ago, and it was kind of before this huge mass of like Californians like stormed the state, you know?
Right.
It hadn't happened yet. When we moved here, there weren't really any homes for sale.
Yeah.
It wasn't busy.
Yeah.
And then obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of people lost their homes, or a lot of people moved away, or whatever happened.
Right.
But I feel like COVID kind of opened the door for a lot of Californians to come, because they realized, okay, you know, not to get political, whatever their political beliefs are, a lot of people think Tennessee is one way.
Right.
And they think it's going to be like this.
1,000%.
But then they see and they're like, oh, that's not true at all.
No.
You know? Even, you know, I don't know if you're gonna edit this or not, but even like when my friends have come, they're like, oh, like where's the rebel flags? And I'm thinking, why would there be rebel flags?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
That just shows how ignorant people are to this state. You know, I tell people all the time, like, I'm super proud to live somewhere that people volunteered to go to war.
Right.
Like, that's a powerful photo that's in the square. It's on one of like the bins.
Oh yeah.
Where the people were lining up.
Yeah.
They volunteered. I mean, how amazing is that? You know, where else are you going to find people like that? So people can say what they want about the South, the Bible Belt. People are good to you here. They take care of people.
Yeah.
There's resources for single mothers. There's resources for families who need it. Tennessee is not somewhere that you're going to starve, that you're going to, you know, be displaced. Like, it's a wonderful place.
No, I
get so frustrated.
Wait,
when
I'm
people-
getting kind of like not emotional. Kind of, right? Because I had that same narrative that was spun to me.
Right,
This is not me saying that.
Right.
I like to experience stuff for myself.
Yeah.
Then make my own
Sure.
assessment. But the narrative is already spun in my head through family members, through friends, and they're like, where the burning car houses, things of that nature.
Which is ridiculous.
Like, could you where's the pillowcases, things of that
yes.
because of movies.
Yes, of
because
course.
the narrative in movies.
Yes.
That's Mississippi, first of all. Anyways,
but people
like,
don't know that. People think it's everywhere.
So that was the narrative spun with me.
Yes.
I came over here, and this is my assessment. I'm like, oh, they got a Costco, they got a Target, right? They go. I mean, where I pictured like one house, and then like there was like a one store that was called like Ricky's, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where you shop.
Like that.
Yeah,
it did used to be like that.
no, but that's what was played in my head.
Right.
But when I come over here, I'm like, this is like San Diego.
It is like any other smaller metropolitan city.
Right.
You just have more land.
Right.
And the people are nicer.
Absolutely.
That's
and
it.
I kind of want to share my own story. I believe that people are so welcoming here.
Yes.
Right? If you let them.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Very, very fortunate to be a part of what's here. And I think I felt more racism in California than I felt here.
100%. I tell people that all the time.
And
yep. There's more hate and more racism
there's
in
more
California.
and there's more prejudice. I
Yep.
mean, that's a wrong word, but more prejudice.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could feel like what you were saying about the hamster wheel.
Yep.
Like we're all on the hamster wheel going 100 miles per hour and then looking at the other person on the hamster wheel,
Yep.
but he has a prettier hamster wheel.
Yes, of
And but
course.
we want that prettier hamster wheel where he looks at the other guy and he wants the one with the diamonds.
Absolutely.
Hamster wheel.
Yeah.
But we're still running. and we're still at the same place.
There's no end in sight.
Right.
No, there's
So
not.
this chasing of Joneses,
Yes.
I like to say, right? Just what it wasn't for me. So I understand
Yes.
the trend when we were all we're transfers, right?
Yeah.
Basically. But the transition was so much special here because of the people.
Right.
Right. So I love that. The journey was great from California to Tennessee.
Yeah, it's funny when we came to look at houses here in 2019, we were looking in Nashville, Brentwood, Franklin, all the places.
Yeah.
Murfreesboro wasn't even on our radar.
Yeah.
And we just didn't really like anything that we saw. Because again, this was pre-COVID, so there wasn't much.
Yeah.
But our realtor went to MTSU.
Right.
And she said, I grew up in this town. It's a place called Murfreesboro. Just look. Like, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And we said, okay. And we had met her at a Starbucks. I think it was the one at the Avenue. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We met her at a Starbucks, and we're in there, and obviously Richie's from London. He's British, so people here are totally foreign to him. Mm-hmm. And the lady kept talking to him and was like, "Are you having a good day? Like, how's it going?"
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. He was kind of looking at me like,
What's she selling?
yeah. And he said to me, like, in London, if someone is nice to you, they want to fight. Like, they're picking a fight. Like, that's like, if someone approaches you like that, you're kind of like, what? And he said, he's like, is this for real? And I said, this is real. Yeah. These people want to know about our day, and they want to ask,
like,
how
sincere.
And it was like an older Southern woman who was so, just friendly. And it was a big adjustment for that, because both of us were like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening here? Like, everyone is so kind to us, you know? And I was just at a Starbucks.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing that was the biggest shock for me here, was in the grocery store. People will start talking to me, and then like 25 minutes later, I'm still there talking to someone in Publix. And I'm thinking, I've never seen this person. I don't know who they are, but it's the truth. Like, it's always these like women in like church hats that just start chatting, and then I'm still there, and I can't leave the conversation.
Yeah, but
it's nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
True story, guys. So I'm very fortunate. Trent went to go visit me. I'm very fortunate to work at now a mega church.
Yeah.
And I'm like the facilities director.
Yeah.
Trent, you've been there, right? So it's huge.
Yeah.
Every single person that goes there or visits the church and we have an event, they're very sincere, and they come up to me like, how's your wife doing?
Of course.
I don't know this person.
Of course not.
But I'm like, I feel the genuine.
Yes.
I feel that she's genuine, and she's like, you have to get rest.
Yes.
And tells me like remedies.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking to her for 2 hours now.
Yes.
I mean, it feels like an hour, but I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made me realize, like, if this was California, I'm like always on a go.
This would never happen in California.
I don't even have 2 minutes to talk to somebody, because you know what? I got to hustle.
It would never happen in California.
But I'm so present. But then we made each other's day.
Of course.
For that 2 hours. So I understand the public's reference.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's Tennessee in a nutshell. I think people are kind here. I just think it's a different way of living, a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I love it here. So.
Well, I wanted to, first of all, we're wrapping up now, but this show was dedicated to like transfers.
Yeah.
And especially from California, anywhere. You could be from New York, you could be from Texas, or wherever you're from.
Right.
This place has give us this warm embrace.
Absolutely.
And we're giving that platform to all walks of life, saying it has done great things for them.
Definitely. And, I think people that are upset, I love like the Murfreesboro, like Facebook groups, like Rutherford County Breaking News is great. Mr. Murfreesboro, have you met him?
No, he's going to be on our show, right? Mr. When did I tell you about him? Mr. Murfreesboro? Yeah.
He's very nice. I met him a couple times.
He's the guy with the car.
Yeah.
He has a big car.
He's super nice. And, I met him out and about at like a thing. And it was so funny to me, because I'm like, this is who's representing Murfreesboro. This like big buff guy drives around his truck, but he's like a man of the people, and that's what you want, And he's so nice. And I remember thinking like, how funny, because I loved all the posts in that group. So when I finally saw who did it, it's not who I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I love being in these groups because everyone is so like angry about
Right.
all the traffic or people, and it's getting
Yeah.
Murfreesboro is getting crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but that's because our economy is booming.
Right.
Don't you want to live somewhere where people are putting money actively into where you live?
Right.
The streets are going to get better. We're going to have better
Raising,
parks, better recreation, all that.
Also, your properties are going to
Absolutely.
come from 100 and something to 300
That's
now.
right.
And
It's
your
frustrating.
equity grows.
Yes, it's frustrating because of the traffic, which I understand. Because 6 years ago, it was not this busy.
Yeah.
But it says something that people are actively coming here and putting money into
Yeah.
where we live
Right.
to make it better.
Right.
So I love it here.
So we're wrapping up, and this is what we like to do here at Open Book with Harry Pacheco. It's your 4 things that you're grateful for.
4 things that I'm grateful for: my family,
1,
my health.
2.
I mean, I don't know if it's, I guess it's, well, I'm grateful for it. Being able to provide for my
Yes,
family,
true.
food, a roof
Yes.
over my head, and my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the last question. If you wanted to put somebody or some organization or some business or whomever in the forefront to give them a shout out, who would you say that person was? Or that business or that organization?
Somewhere
or,
like locally?
Yeah.
I would probably say Greenhouse Ministries.
I love Greenhouse Ministry. There's amazing
Yeah.
things there.
There is, and I do tell people, like, when you see people on the street here, it is because of like a mental illness, not because they don't have any other options. Because these places like Greenhouse Ministries, I read a lot about them, and they help people.
Yeah.
So, if someone is falling on hard times or someone just needs a little extra help, this organization will help people. And that's what's so amazing. So I think I have nothing to do with them, but I like to see all their posts, and I look at what they do, and like when they do like the coldest night stuff and Cold Patrol.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So,
I like to tell you this before we go. I am so grateful for this woman. She has helped our family transition well. She's actually good friends with my wife. She helps us with things that are going on. We didn't know what Lucky Lads was until she tells us. She tells us what's going on in Murfreesboro. She's so plugged in, tapped in to what's going on, and it's remarkable. So you helped us so much with our transition from California to here. So I want to thank you for that.
and we just met at the park because that's the Tennessee way. You just meet at the park and you become friends.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you
Absolutely. Thanks
again
for having me.
for being here and sharing and being an open book
Of course.
to your life. And we are gonna wrap up. So,
All right.
Thank you for another episode of Open Book with Harry Pacheco.
Thank you.
I just love this.